All right, good evening, everybody. This is Live Stage Radio, and you are tuned into the ColdShot, and I'm your host, Len Pyros, and I give you the Heartless Devils.
You're not unreachable, not just some other girl. I'll get in touch with you, I only wish I knew. your number. Say, don't you realize, is there nothing left inside? Hey, did I get you wrong? Say, where's your number gone? You only call me when you're feeling blue. You told me I don't pay attention to you. But if you only knew what I've been going through, you wouldn't go as much as messing around with you, girl. You're not unreadable, you're not unbeatable. I know just what you are, don't push you like too far. You're not unreachable, not just another girl. I'll get in touch with you, I only wish I knew when. I only wish I knew when. Got your number written on the back of my hand. I got your number written on the back of my hand. Got your number written on the back of my hand. I got your number written on the back of my hand. Got your number written on the back of my hand. I got your number written on the back of my head.
Now that's how you open a show. All right. Well, I see some things haven't changed. You guys are still kicking ass wherever you go.
We do the best we can, man.
I appreciate that very much. Anyways, like I said before, this is Live Stage Radio, and I'm Len Pyros, the host of ColdShot, and I thank you for tuning in tonight. Special thanks to our studio audience and the amazing staff here at the Rail.
Yeah, baby.
And, of course, these guys, the Heartless Devils, who have been on the radar for the longest time.
I love these guys.
And these guys are fantastic. And normally my show, I usually do like a musician or two. This is the first time I'm doing a full-on band, and I couldn't be happier than to have these guys be kind enough to do this for me. So, gentlemen, welcome to the ColdShot.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've always been a big supporter and a big friend of the band, so thank you very much, man. It means a lot to us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And back at you.
Why do we call this show the Cold Shot there, Lenny?
Because
it's kind of hot. It's hot
well,
today.
It's hot. It's hot outside.
It's a cold shot, but we're hot.
Yeah, I just thought the name was cool. And it really has nothing to do with the Stevie Ray Vaughan thing.
I was gonna say that sounded like it would be a Stevie Ray Vaughan thing.
Yeah, but that works too because that's also very cool. But no, it's just someone just said Cold Shot. I said, oh, I like it. So anyway, what's happening?
Well,
you got a lot going on. You always do.
To the mic,
I got to talk into the microphone.
To the
So, for those of you who haven't seen us in a while, or maybe don't know us so much, Tom is now in the band, or Moog, as we call him.
Moog.
He replaced Blaine. Moog. We kept watering Blaine, and he finally got past the 6'4" mark, and we kept him.
Miracle.
I'd like to give a special shout out to Blaine.
Yeah, man.
For all the years and friendship and everything.
Yes, man.
God bless you,
so
brother.
we miss him. He moved to California and abandoned us, and he comes back and visits, but we'll see. We'll probably throw him up at some point in time.
Oh, cool.
Some of his music sticks around still too, and he was a big part of how we came up with the name. So
right now, if we can just go back to the beginning, you are coming out of the ashes of Mr. Nasty.
Well, yeah.
And then
yes,
went through Grimjack.
No, I was in Grimjack.
Oh, Grimjack, and then?
And then Mr. Nasty.
And then?
And Mr. Nasty with Tom. Tom was in the original Mr. Nasty as well in the first album.
Absolutely.
So
shout out to the Mr. Nasty album.
Yeah. So I didn't play for a long time actually after Mr. Nasty. I had to learn how to be a grown up.
Life took over.
Well, yeah, and it was good. It's paying big benefits, which is nice. I'm still here, which is, a big thing when you were in Mr. Nasty. To say you're on this side of the dirt is a big thing. So, and then we got the band Mr. Nasty back together in mid-2000s, and Tom wasn't in the band at that time. It was the second version of the band. We put out an album. Did pretty well for a while. Just crazy Mr. Nasty things that would happen and made the band fall apart. And as it fell apart, I met James,
and we started a band called the Strip Club Devils.
Right. That's what I was leading to. That
Yeah. So we
the
had
Heartless
that.
Devils, it was the Strip Club Devils.
It was the Strip Club Devils. We did pretty well with that. We had a kind of notorious singer that we had to bury somewhere in a landfill in New Jersey, but we did a great song called "Bleeding Out" that was on the cover of Classic Rock magazine. They put probably 100,000 copies of that magazine out when we were on the cover of it, so that was really cool. We didn't keep a lot of momentum from that with the name change, but it's still part of the history of the band, which is kind of neat. Mm-hmm. And then, from there we went through an assortment of, some different guitar players and bass players. But James and I have been together now, playing together since '06.
I love you, man.
I love you too. I get so choked up.
Long time.
So we've been doing this quite a while, and James and Cube had played together in a band called IMU, which is where they came out of. James had been in Babies in Black, for anybody who remembers the scene back in the late '80s and then in New York City, and so we kind of knew each other. We had a mutual friend, Raven, who was in the Strip Club Devils and started it with us too from Nasty, and then we got attached to Cube through him. We were trying to do this cover thing that really doesn't really work for us ever, but we try anyway. And then when Blaine, came in, he solidified the bass part of the band for us for a long time. And then when, he said he was moving to California, we grabbed Moog, and, that's it. So we've done a full album with me, James, and Blaine, and that was El Diablo Sin Corazon.
What is that? That's
The Devil Without Heart.
Yeah.
So and it looks like a Mexican
Clever.
movie poster.
Very
It's
clever.
it's got the
Luchador
luchadors and all that. And
awesome record if you ever want to go pick it up.
oh, thank you. And it's on iTunes. That's probably the best place to get it if you're on Long Island and you want. They still have them down at Record Stop down in Patchogue. They've always been big supporters of ours and have it. I think CD Baby may still have some copies, but I don't use that too much anymore. But then we did with Cube. We did an EP. It was a little more garage rock, and that was called The Devil's Garage, and that's a 6-song EP. You can get that on iTunes as well. You can catch us on Spotify. I think you can get us on Pandora. So if you play us on Spotify, I don't know if everybody saw what Peter Frampton just released, but 55 million plays of Show Me the Way, and he made $1,700. So if you guys could just play one of our songs 55 million times, we'll go and do another record. It'd be awesome because, it only costs a little more than that to do a record. But we have maybe 30 songs that we're going to go through that we've got, and we'll probably start this fall. We'll do another record.
And this will be the follow-up to Garage.
Yeah, this will be the follow-up to Garage. It'll probably be a little closer in style to the first record. But
because I notice with each one of your outings, it's different. Like you're going for a different type of vibe or a different type of sound.
Well, that's because I have multiple personalities.
Oh, that's what it
like
is.
Right now I'm Scott, but I could be Sybil. I could be anything, But and everybody here can do that, which is really cool. Just doing one thing all the time, I think we'd probably look like a cat in a bowl of yarn in about an hour into a practice if everything was the same all the time. But
so now, do you primarily write all the songs, or is it a collective thing when you guys get together?
I write
and
a lot
rehearse?
of the ideas. Blaine did as well. So you're losing Blaine Hurts on that level a little bit. But of all the stuff that we have coming in, Cube's written one or two of the things that we have in the pile, and rarely do I bring a song 100% finished.
Okay.
Because that would discount what these guys could do. And I don't like that. I mean, he was in the band because I love the way he plays guitar. I play with him because I love the way he plays drums. And I love him because the way he plays bass, and he's like my brother, So it's cool. I mean, I might have an idea for a part that I'd want him to do or him to do or something, but, they can certainly add a lot
and
to
so
it.
everybody gets together.
And they all have great
put in their
ideas.
own ideas.
Yeah.
That's okay. Because I didn't know, some bands I write all the songs and he writes the lyrics. And he does, I just didn't know. I've always liked to.
I keep trying to give Cube $5 a practice of bring down a song, but no, it doesn't bring down enough. I guess I got to pay him more.
Big bucks, and maybe we'll have
That's
something.
it,
right?
If 55 million Spotify. You know what? You just put Spotify on at home and on a loop with our stuff, and then we'll be good. But yeah, I mean, he's come up with great ideas. And he's just starting to work with us now. We changed the beginning of the first song we played because of an idea he had, so it worked out good.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Very cool.
It's good.
So what's your touring situation like?
Well,
you primarily play a lot in the city.
We do. We play. We were hooked up with some people in the city, so we do some stuff at the Bowery Electric and the Bitter End, which is really cool. It's a different vibe when you play the city, and I think the stuff that we do, the city crowd is a little more into maybe than the island sometimes because we're geared towards that a little bit more. But we love playing out here too.
Yeah.
So we didn't play for a while. I had gotten hurt and really. I had a hard time standing and playing guitar for a while, so that wasn't really gonna go too well. And we just kind of wanted to change a little bit of what we were doing and bring Tom in full. But we just played here. We just played in the city at the Bowery Electric. Next week we'll be in Boston on a show called Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party, which is great
because it's a family show, right? It's a family show.
It is a family show.
Yeah.
As long as your family's into ball gags and electrical tape.
I see Bonnie laughing at
Yeah.
that.
So we went to Home Depot last night. We got like the multicolored packs of electrical tape, so we'll be dressed properly. But it's the guy who hosts the show is this amazing guy, Ken McIntyre. He's also known as Sleaze Grinder. And he is a rather famous rock writer. He writes for Classic Rock Magazine. He's one of the big writers for that. And he was a fan going back to Mr. Nasty. He had a friend of mine one day called me up and said, "Hey man, go on eBay and put in the Mr. Nasty 38 caliber Kisses album." And I go, "Okay." And I go on, and the record's selling for $100, or the CD, I should say. And I'm like, okay, this didn't just happen on its own, right? So I started using, I don't even know if it was Google yet, but I started searching around. And I found out that this guy had written this amazing article about us. He found our record in a cutout bin and thought we were just cool as anything. And, how come these guys just disappeared? And, so one guy just saying that seemed to have made it a little more hip. I mean, I guess there was some hair metal underground that still liked all sleaze rock and stuff. And
Right,
we were kind of lost dogs of the underground or whatever you'd want to make it, but so we're underground sleaze rock legends, man.
You bet you are.
I'm so proud. My son goes to Harvard Law, and I'm an underground sleaze rock legend.
Now, how would you describe your sound? I mean, because I hear elements of like a lot of the early '70s, like glam rock. I hear New York Dolls.
With the Iceman make you think '70s Kiss or something.
My favorite guitar growing up was like I had to have one of those.
Yeah, man.
But I hear like early Kiss.
Of course.
New York Dolls, Johnny Thunders.
Of course, yes. In fact,
underground,
in between
that whole '70s thing.
Yeah.
Like that New York underground '70s type of thing.
Ace Frehley, Johnny Thunders are absolute heroes of mine. If you came out of New York, you had to really suck for me not to like you. Yeah. I mean, I loved bands that sounded like they were from New York.
Yeah.
The Ramones,
it was like an attitude.
Yeah, Blondie.
Television,
of course, man. Television is crazy cool. And you don't really hear that in us, but then Cube will play something and I'll be like, that reminds me of Television. And, it's cool. And, they show up in the Strokes and bands like that, so it's really cool.
Yeah, so it's kind of coming back in different
Yeah, it does. It's funny. We had played something a few years ago and somebody had said to us, you guys, you sound like CBGBs. Like if I walked by CBGBs, you guys sound like CBGBs. And that made me feel, pretty awesome,
That's a hell of a compliment because that's an eclectic blend of bands that had played there.
Yeah.
And that comes out in your music.
Especially when, you say bands like Kiss, nobody goes CBs, but, you play Hotter Than Hell, it doesn't sound, it's not a nice sounding album, I mean, to me, that's a New York City rock and roll album. And
like flat out guitar.
Right. It's just loud Marshalls, really ugly, and...
no fancy stuff around it, just blazing.
No, but I love those guitars that sound like they're made with wire brushes and, they got rust on them and they could hurt you. You ever get tetanus or something maybe, I don't know. You should have your shots before you come see us, definitely.
Yeah, but that's what I noticed how no matter what song it is you're doing and what you're recording, you always have that spirit of like that garage type of thing we just talked about.
Well, we're doing it right then.
And
'cause
I'm like,
that's-
I appreciate that because that's a long lost like genre of music that it comes out in certain bands, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all of them.
Well, absolutely. I'm a big fan of a lot of bands from Detroit, and I always try to get people.
We've
that-
talked about.
Yeah, and I always try to get the people that I play with
MC5
into
and-
it. Yeah, MC50 will be at Paramount next month. I'm going to be like waiting out there the day before.
Social Distortion.
Yeah, well, that's
You know?
he's a big Social D fan. We all like him. The Stooges. I mean, I don't. There's not too many people higher up the food chain for me than Iggy,
Yeah.
and the Stooges are gods to me. So.
So it's just very, very cool.
Yeah,
I
man.
hear all those elements in the music.
Good. Well, I try to, the chances that I'm going to really pull something out that makes people go, he's an original genius, maybe. I grew up in Stony Brook. I don't think I grew up in the hotbed of,
Yeah.
of that. I grew up in suburban rock and roll and wishing that, I could wear makeup and spit blood and all those things. So
Yeah.
what the hell?
I wish I could wear blood and spit makeup.
You
That's what I
do.
wish.
I've seen you. He spits blood out his eyes, which is kind of freaky.
You do it tonight?
Only during happy moments.
Yes.
happy
Yeah.
mo- okay.
yeah. If Shay was here, he'd be spitting blood out his eyes like crazy.
Well, that being said,
We're gonna hit another song or two here.
let's do it, man. Let's rock the house.
So,
Live Stage Radio. This is ColdShot and my special guest, the Heartless Devils.
All right. So this song is on our Devil's Garage EP. It's called Devil Divine, and then we'll play a song by the Sonics, which are maybe the greatest rock and roll band in garage rock history. Maybe, right? Would you say? All right, man.
She's the apple, and she is a snake. She's my last temptation, my future heartache. She's a walking, talking devil doll. She tells you maybe that you take it all right. That girl's so easy to love. She's got the devil in her, and she's all mine. My devil's divine. Got a voodoo I cannot resist, and I sell my soul for just one kiss. She's all 360s and crucifixes. She's a band town. I hear they tell. That girl's so easy to love. She's got the devil in her, and she's all mine. My devil's divine. She's all mine.
Hell yeah. Damn, that was fucking cool.
I missed him. Right on, man.
Awesome. So what made you decide to pick that song? Because primarily you're all original, but you do throw in some covers. Do you just like do songs that you really enjoy and be fun to play, or is it?
Yeah, man. We try to find songs that you're not going to hear every band under the sun doing, but you know.
Yeah.
You know, Little Steven's Underground Garage has brought back a lot of that music and kept, you know, it in people's faces and in their ears. So, you know, when you play a band like the Sonics, you might even have heard them in a commercial now. You know, I mean, a friend of mine just did something online, and he did a song by The Creation that Audi's using in a commercial.
Wow.
I mean, 5 years ago, you couldn't have found anybody outside of like a really small group of people that would have known it. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll do some Elvis Costello. We'll do, you know, like the Sonics. What do we got? The Jags. I guess the Clash. You know, we do the Stooges. We'll do
Dr.
MC5, Dr. Feelgood.
So you primarily just do like your influences.
Yeah,
growing up.
were. You know, we throw a lot of stuff in that people should know.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say they're into rock and roll, but when you ask them, they're like, well, you know, and they don't. They love it if they hear it,
Yeah.
but they don't know it, and nobody's going to go out and find it. You know, I have, it's a blessing and a curse, but I'm like a freaking rock and roll encyclopedia. You know, so what happens when you grow up in record stop.
And if they don't know, we'll take credit for it.
That's right.
They'll think it's an original.
And if you liked it and don't know who wrote it, it's ours.
You guys wrote that? Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, and that's cool too, because when we do the songs, they kind of sound like us anyway.
It's
You
like,
know.
it's almost like your own interpretation. So
Yeah.
obviously I could say, you know what? I didn't know that they did that song, but that's great thinking it's yours.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know.
Well, yeah, I don't think we do anything that sounds so out of what we would normally do that you wouldn't expect it, you know, you wouldn't expect it in the set. And if we did a song that was that far out, we probably chopped it up and put it in the blender and made it sound like us anyway.
So it always has your signature sound.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a band,
Yeah.
Which is balls to the wall.
Kind of, yeah.
Straight ahead rocking.
You know,
Guitar rock.
my guitar sound doesn't change a whole lot. You know, I can make any guitar sound like me in 5 minutes or less. So,
Well, speaking of guitars, I know,
yes, I'm a guitar junkie.
and you know, we've had conversations. We've had shows before.
Yes.
Where we would just not enough time to.
We
geek out
bring
on
guitars, and I bring piles of them. Yeah.
And guitars and amps and gadgets and gizmos, and that's actually where I got my phrase for my show. Guitars, gadgets.
Oh,
gizmos.
right
Here
on.
Was because he's always like, Len, I got this, I got that.
Yeah, well, I
You know,
had that little crazy little amp that I brought in the one time that was
was
freaking
awesome.
everybody out. Yeah, yeah.
So you tinker around a lot.
I do. I have a little thing. I call it Guitar Culture. You can catch it on Facebook if you're so inclined. And it's kind of like a little blog thing, but I'll put the guitars that I work on, and I do work for friends and customize things and sell them. And I've painted this. If you get it on,
We gotta get a
cameraman. He wants you to get a picture of that. So that was one I painted up, Day of the Dead setup. That's all enamels and painted, and the pickups were custom made by local guy Bobby Popper,
who I think
who has a company
said-
called Tone Master Pickups,
and
who's
he's out
phenomenal.
here. Fantastic pickups.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal
Actually, he was supposed
pickups.
to be here tonight.
He should be here, but he
said he
probably
was
got
coming.
scared of the rain.
Oh, maybe.
He could have got a good profit. Could have even seen a picture of his Greg Allman looking ass.
So
And I did the cool
This-
applique on this guitar
That
and
I totally-
rewired that and
yeah.
made that all kind of crazy and funky and cool. And this guitar I just got, and this was the guitar I had when I was. This is like my first great guitar was my Ibanez Iceman.
Growing up, I wanted that
A
guitar.
friend of mine broke mine when I went away to college, and I never replaced it until just recently. Even though I've owned probably 150 guitars since then, I'm sure. You know, but yeah. So I do a lot of customizing thing. I'm going to try and come out with a line of guitars in the next couple of years. That'll be a kind of
Fantastic.
freaky, kind of boutique-y custom. Looking like a cheesy Japanese guitar, but playing like a beast.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's all that matters. So
Yeah.
now this is an actual site that you have that you.
Yeah, it's facebook.com/guitar culture
Guitar Cultures.
with a K. Culture
So if
with
you
a
want
K,
your-
like
if you want-
Custom Culture, Big Daddy Roth, and Von Dutch, and those guys.
And you have like samples of ideas of, or if someone.
Yeah, I
comes
mean,
up to you-
I'll share really fun stuff that I find about guitars up there. Right now, I'm obsessed with vintage Ibanez stuff, so this might be a lot of vintage Ibanez stuff up there. But yeah, man, I did a guitar last year. I did a copy of Mick Ronson's Les Paul. Bobby wound a great set of custom T-top pickups for it.
Oh, fantastic!
And stripped down the top and just kind of detailed it all up so it was like Mick Ronson's. It's,
All battered up and everything.
keeps me off the streets and out of trouble. And if I buy guitars and I sell them, my wife doesn't get as mad at me.
Yeah, as long as you sell them, you hang on to them for a little while.
Hi, honey. yeah. I always make sure I play the hell out of them first. You know, make sure that they're worth selling. If not, I'll just sell them cheap to somebody.
So now, which guitar is your go-to guitar, your main guitar?
Oh man,
Is that with us tonight?
I don't have it here.
Oh, okay.
You said bring something fun to talk about, so I
Yes.
brought this. But I have a feeling that this is going to be like number 1.5. This one, because it just feels like home. You know, when the guitar you really learn to play on is in your hands, you just feel right. But there's a Les Paul I have over here. That this is not anything really spectacular per se, but it's a really killer Les Paul. I think John picked this up last time and was like, "What the heck is that thing, man?" He's like, "Holy shit, that's a hell of a guitar." And this actually has a Bobby Popper Tone Master pickup in the neck, and
in the neck.
it's a Billy Gibbons pickup in the bridge.
Was it like a Pearly Gates?
Pearly Gates,
Yeah.
man. That's it. I love the rev, you know.
Beast.
So I like
And that's got some weight to it.
this one. Isn't too heavy. I mean, it's not flyweight, but that's not. I mean, the other one I got over there, you know, if you dropped it and it was still on the strap attached to you, you'd fall over when you hit the end of the strap. But
This is like a workhorse.
yeah, man, that's a workhorse guitar. That's what it is. It's a Gibson 70s Tribute, and it just happens to be a really dumb luck great one. So
It's awesome.
yeah, man.
Beautiful. You can't go
So
wrong
this was that one's like 1.5 as well.
with it. And that,
My number one doesn't see as much action anymore. I'm wearing it. It's kind of worn out a little.
you got baby it now.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
paid its dues.
And then,
think
so
you
Cube has 80 guitars as well, and he's as big a guitar junkie as I am. He has a whole house. He has one of those tiny homes he lives in, and then he has a mansion next door where all his guitars and amps are in.
Yeah, very true.
It is, I'm sure, man.
I actually got this guitar from Scott.
Yeah. I played the hell out of it, and I was like, you need to buy this one because I need more guitars, and I can't buy one until I sell that one. So.
You're like the arms dealer.
Yeah, I am.
guitars.
I am. Oh, dude, if I was into guns, the world would be done by now. I would
So
be
now-
so bad.
You have the black Ibanez.
Yeah. Oh, you want to see that
Oh,
too?
yeah, got to show the audience. That's just badass.
All right. So yeah, this is.
I can say that.
Yeah.
It's internet radio.
So this thing is kind of a.
Now you've done work to this.
Well, I did a little bit just because it was wired really kind of weird when I got it. But other than that, I cleaned up the nut on it and I just polished it and made it look pretty again. So this is a 77 Ibanez. I think the model number is 2650 because they couldn't call it a Les Paul. It was after the lawsuit for the headstock.
Oh, right.
So it's got sort of a guild-looking headstock that they used for a while.
And what's with the pickups?
Well, this is a 3 pickup. It was actually a 2 pickup model originally. I found out somebody put the middle in, but they used the original pickup style. So it's 3 Ibanez Super 80s. They're called the Flying Fingers model. So those are all, they're original to the era. The other 2 are the original. The middle one was put in some point later. And this thing's a beast. And this is the one.
Piece.
Well, yeah. So this is what's called a transition model. So they said we're going to stop making direct Gibson ripoffs, and they came out with their own line, which sort of looked like Potato or something like that, But they came out with this really beautiful hardware, which was
Yeah, that's cool.
the
That's very
engraved
cool.
bridge, and they put the tailpiece and the Gibraltar bridge on, and they didn't do very many in this setup. Most of them would have had a traditional Les Paul looking, Tune-O-Matic and tailpiece. But yeah, this thing's cool, man. I saw this in all the cells in my brain said, get that one. on. You know, like when a dog wants a treat, it's like, no, have. So, yeah, so.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man. So I also have the Guitar Culture site's also on Reverb. I have a store on Reverb where I buy and sell a lot of the gear, too. So I'll find really cool things that people should own that are, left to die somewhere, and I'll fix them up and sell them. And
How did you ever come with the teardrop guitar you were going to make?
well, it's called a Swept Wing.
Oh, that's what you were telling me before, the swept.
Yes, the Swept Wing. Yeah, that was just this crazy Japanese guitar. It was made in the Taisco factory, but it was put out by a company called Height, which I think was an auto parts dealer in Jersey. And in the 60s, they couldn't get guitars fast enough into stores, and everybody wanted electric guitars. So they were just bringing crates and crates and crates of electric guitars over from Japan, and they were selling them everywhere. So, like, if you were a mechanic, your kid was begging you for a guitar, you didn't know where to go, but when you went to the auto parts place, they had a guitar there, and you bought your kid a guitar. But this one is kind of cool. It's like maybe like an upside-down V a little bit. But
Interesting.
yeah, it's just a really crazy, cool-looking guitar. I think Cube saw it and went blind for like 30 minutes. Yeah, it's so cool. I mean,
still have
it's completely unplayable because they didn't even make it right. But it just looks so cool. You could sound like Hound Dog Taylor on a slide on it, which is kind of neat. But it doesn't stay in tune. But I'm gonna make that guitar real, and that's my. I just gave away my trade secrets, man. But that's it.
Only here on ColdShot.
So you want to hold this, or am I handing this back?
You hit it back there. I just wanted
All right,
to.
there you go.
Yeah, I just thought that was real pretty. Have the viewer audience.
Yeah, man.
check
Cool.
it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You. And if you need a loan, you talk to Q. James will route the world for you. And if you need to have your brain fixed, Tom takes care of that, man. So we got this all down. We're semi-professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
good stuff.
So.
So we're gonna do a couple more songs for you.
Absolutely. Let's just keep it rocking.
All right, man. So
This is awesome. Thank
you
you
ask how the
guys.
songs go. This is one that as did Devil Divine started with Blaine, and we just built it into I guess kind of a beast, and then we throw in a couple of covers, Heartless Devil style for you. All right.
Yes.
Well, I know you're kind. You know that I do. And I might be blind, but I can see you right through. You think that I would know by now. I can't help it. Well, I played your fool, not once but twice. So don't be cruel when I play nice. You think that I would go by now. I can't help it. You got your spell on me. 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 You are my witch. You're spun in outfit. 'Cause you do those things. You do so well. You think that I would know by now. I can't help it. You got your spell on me. You got your spell on me. You got your spell on me. You got your spell on me.
And that's how it's done.
Yeah, so there you go. You wouldn't hear those songs maybe done quite that way, but you know,
That kind of had your stamp.
it just works out that way.
Yeah.
I can only sing 5 notes, so it works out. That's what happens.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, man. So we love doing those songs too. They're a lot of fun, and Shakin' Brand New Cadillac. No matter where we are, they always seem to go over. We did the first time we played Shakin'. We were playing the Bitter End in the City, and I'm gonna name drop because it was super freaking cool. Bill Cower was there because his wife or girlfriend is a big singer, Queen V, in the city, and they were there hanging out, and he was dancing to us playing Shakin'.
Really?
Freaking cool is that, man?
It don't get.
I said, I'll, if you'll coach the Jets, I'll come play that at practice every day if that makes you happy, man. And his wife's like, I am a bigger Jet fan than you, and I can't get him there. So,
Wow.
sucks.
Yeah.
But so that's it, man. So what else can we tell you?
Well, I want to know for the people that are tuning in or the people that
I got to
don't-
introduce the band
Well,
too, right?
we're going to get to that.
We didn't get to that yet. I'm
But
sorry.
plug your websites. This
Yeah.
is the
Oh man.
This
yeah.
is the shameless.
This is
plug part
this
portion
is
of the
what I'm
show.
really bad at. So thank you.
Yes.
This is why we come on shows to shamelessly promote. So yeah. So we are the Heartless Devils, as you've said. You can get us on Facebook. You can reach out to us directly on there. Make fun of us. Tell us you wish you were in our old bands. They were better. Whatever you want to do. You know. So yeah, it's facebook.com/the Heartless Devils. You can also get us on Reverb Nation, where you can hear mostly everything that we've recorded, and even stuff that we haven't. We put up some live shows. We did a Cheap Trick tribute that came out in Australia a couple years ago, and we did Baby Loves to Rock, and that came out just. It still blows my mind how well that came out. We had a friend
You guys-
down
you
in Philly, West Town Entertainment, that we use their studio. It's just phenomenal.
Do you guys know that song?
No, we don't have that rehearsed right now. So it was actually just James, Blaine, and I at the time.
But that was major. You know, it must have been to be honored to.
Yeah, it was really cool. We also, last year, we put out the song Spell that you heard, and Devil Divine. We put out a single in Australia with a fellow named Mick Blood, who was a singer of a famous punk band down there called the Lime Spiders. They were famous for a song called Slave Girl. Didn't really do too much because we don't know how the heck to promote it, you know, when you're the other side of the world.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I ended up going over and playing with them in Spain in December at a festival. We did a couple songs. We did Spell. We did a couple of their songs, and it was really, really cool.
And didn't they like? You would tell me that story when you were there, and somebody came and played with you, or you played with somebody's band, or how? Did
I played with the Lime
you
Spiders.
played with that's the. Okay.
Yeah. I got up and guested with them for I think 3 songs, maybe 4, but 3 songs. I fronted Spell when we did Spell, so that was really cool. They're one of my favorite bands. I mean, maybe in the mid '80s, everybody would remember a song "Slave Girl" that they did because it was all over the place. And they did a song for the movie called Young Einstein. They did the soundtrack for that, and they did a song called "Weird Little Libido" for that, which was kind of popular for a while.
Wow,
Big
very-
on college radio, anyway.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Yeah, it was cool. You know, that's. I mean, how the hell are you even going to meet the band from Australia? But I just have these weird ways about me.
Yeah, you always wind up
It's just meant to happen, I guess.
pulling something like that out of
Yeah, so
up out of your.
I wanted to sneak
Hey.
all these guys in my suitcase and bring them all over too, but it gets a little pricey.
Okay, so you have Facebook, Reverb Nation. Now you
Yep.
do Twitter, Instagram, and all
No,
the
we
other-
don't Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
No Instagrammy stuff. No twatting. No, we probably should, but you know.
The Facebook is pretty much
Yeah,
the
Facebook.
main
We're
one.
lazy, man.
Penny saver.
We'd probably be popular if we were good at marketing and promotion, right?
Yeah, well.
So, you know,
it does.
we put all our time into quality assurance. So our QA program is off the charts, but you know, our marketing is a little weak. So, you know, I mean, we'll destroy a room, but you know.
Well, it's all about quality music.
Yeah,
that you-
yeah.
that you
Well, you
create.
know, we really do. I mean, I can make a joke about it, but we practice a lot, and we love to. It seems like because Cube has this funny look on his face.
we
Maybe
practice
Cube
a
doesn't
lot.
like to practice anymore. I think he's given up.
Do we have to?
I don't want to practice.
We all love it. We
Well,
live for practice.
Well, we don't
it's the only
shit,
time we get to see
we don't really get
the Moog,
Yeah, we don't shit the bed too often, so that's it's a good thing.
thankfully.
Yeah, but
So now if people want to buy your music.
buy the music, iTunes for
iTunes.
sure is probably the easiest way now. But like I say, locally, I would think Record Stop still has some.
Shout out to Bobby Grohl and everyone. at
Yeah,
Record
Bobby
Stop.
Grohl, man, my main man. I grew
an
up in.
actual record store
Yeah.
that came back because I
And-
remember Amber Music and
Sure.
Titus Oaks.
Yeah, everybody had places. I think there's
One-
still Looney Tunes is still around.
Yeah.
I think I saw. And every once in a while you see a record store. I know there's one out on the East End in Amagansett that's pretty cool. I forget the name of it. And I just saw somewhere there's a record store up there, maybe on Port Jefferson or something. I saw.
So they're starting to
But,
come back.
yeah, it's kind of hip and chic, and it probably cost them $1,000 to buy 20,000 used records. So they just do it that way. But no, Record Stop is amazing. The guy Bruce that owned Record Stop is like my godfather in the music business. He helped Mr. Nasty get their first record out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He hooked us up with the label that put that out in New Jersey. So he's always been like a little bit of a guardian angel for me that way. He's always taken care of me. And Jimmy, who Antonici Nippo, who worked in there, was a professor of music, and that guy taught me more about music than I could ever explain. He was just super cool. He's down in Florida now, but great. It was a great place to be. Everybody had a cool record store to go to. If you didn't, you didn't fall in love with music. You found one.
Yeah.
Even if you had to drive a long way.
But it's well worth it.
Yeah, man. It was funny because growing up in that store basically, I'd go to other record stores. People would be freaking out like, you got to go to this place, you got to go there, and I'd be like, it's all right, because Record Stop ruled, just did, and the cast of characters that were in there was amazing.
Yes.
And now Bruce's son Jeff owns it, and they've turned it into this just amazingly beautiful, cool store.
Very cool.
So you may be able to get it there, but if not, like I say, iTunes and CD Baby, if you're so inclined.
And Scott's trunk.
No, I don't have anything left in my trunk. We have nothing left.
Oh, no,
We have nothing left. I mean, we went, the first CD we did pretty well with. That got written up in Classic Rock. They gave it a great review. They said it sounded like Joey Ramone teaching Billy Idol how to write summertime hits. So I'm pretty much done. Like, my career's over. I don't need to go any further. That was good enough for me to. I just spray painted that gold and I put it on my wall.
That's it. I'm done.
And that's it. But
Because they do say that your sound is the Ramones meets Cheap Trick.
well, yeah, man.
'Cause you got the pop,
I can't escape either of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's like
so like I say, I
Ringo-
love bands
Ringo's.
from New York. Cheap Trick is, as far as I knew, I came from outer space. I mean, when you saw Cheap Trick the first time, you're like, Kiss is kind of crazy, but these guys are nuts.
Yeah.
But I love them to death. They're probably my favorite band. Yeah. And
Still
the
kicking.
blue Iceman and Budokan.
Yeah.
That's why I had to have a blue one. As much as I was a Kiss junkie, man, I had to have Rick's blue. Because it was a Greco, not an Ibanez, but
Yeah.
same difference.
Very true.
It's Greco Mirage.
So, you want to introduce the guys in the
Yeah,
band?
man.
And if
So,
you guys have anything you guys want to plug or say, give a shout
Yeah,
out
they
or anything,
let them
you know?
talk.
We'll be playing Taras and Maria Wilkalinski's 50th anniversary party in Riverhead. Everybody invited. Just bring some sweets for the children, please. Thank you.
Hence why I talk a lot.
Thank you.
All right, so we have Neil Geraldo on guitar. We have Myron Grumbacher on drums. We have TB Player on bass, and I'm Patrick Benatar. So this is Cube, our guitar extraordinaire. More sides than the edge, I think, is how it happened.
Yes,
but
that's what we said.
And then James on the drums, and he's a monster. It's like driving a Cadillac with him back there. It's awesome.
going.
And Tom on bass, but we call him the Moog, or the Doctor now. Like Doctor Who, I call him Dr. Moog. I'm getting him a phone booth to transport himself around. And I'm Scott, or some people call me Wattage, because I'm always going, what did you say? because I can't hear for shit. I'm blown out enough hearing in my life, and I only got one ear that worked anyway. So this one has a tattoo that says for display purposes only.
And so you want to promote some of the shows you got coming up.
Well, we don't, we're playing in the city November 9th. We'll be at the Bowery Electric on a Friday night with our friends, the Hip Hips, who are awesome. Rafaela from the Cycle Sluts from Hell, if you remember them, is the hostess of the night. The kid that DJs is from a big band in the city now called The Sweet Things. He's crazy fun. He's like a little Hanoi Rocks Johnny Thunders color forms thing. Like every time I see him, I feel like I should like paste this hat and paste that shirt and stuff on him. But he's super cool and really enthusiastic. And the Hip Hips, I'd love to bring them out here to play with us out at the club. They're just a great revved up rock and roll band. Very like a 50s rock and roll if it all came from New York City. Yeah. They did a really cool thing about Rock Ain't Dead in New York City last year or earlier this year, was it? I think it was last year, right before the holidays, maybe. Yeah. New York Times did this whole thing on it, and Apple News picked it up and broadcast it across the country, and they were the band that was kind of featured in it. So it was really this great shot of them on Arlene's Grocery with the whole crowd in the background, and Kevin, their bass player, just looking cool as hell because he looks cool as hell. Yeah. He looks like Wolverine, sort of, right? He's got the sideburns and that kind of hair. Yeah. And they're just great guys and just a total New York City rock and roll band. And then, like I said, we'll be in Boston next Wednesday night, and you can catch Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party on Facebook Live. And if you're in Boston on CCTV, I guess is the cable TV
for the Boston.
Yeah, for Boston, Cambridge area. And it's crazy. It's an hour long of craziness. And it's going to be fun. I think we're doing 3 or 4 songs that night. And, it might not be safe for work. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I think that
and we'll be staying overnight in Boston if anybody wants to come and hang out with us and wreck my son's apartment.
All right.
So that's about it, man. So we got to get back here.
Yeah.
Right,
we're
going to become the house band.
All right. So
And you guys have the Killer Dwarfs coming here, which is crazy
September 1st,
fun.
Killer Dwarfs here at the Rail.
That's crazy
With
funny.
Grimjack is also
Yeah, and I saw you have Dennis Stratton coming too, man.
It's crazy because in their rider they all demand like their own bottle of booze. In their
He does that too, but we don't give it to him. He's like, I demand it. We're like, okay.
But yeah, that should be a fun night. Hopefully you'll be here for that.
I'm going to be on vacation for the first time ever in September for the Killer Dwarves. I can't even believe that is the case.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
And then we have some friends who are playing here at the Rail on Thursday night.
Huh?
The Prophets of Addiction? Don't you know those guys?
Well, my friends from the Erotics and Demons Alley are friends of them. They've been doing some shows with the guys from the band. But no, I don't know them. I think Blaine did, though, because they were all out in bands in L.A. together. Because Blaine was out in L.A. during the Pretty Boy Floyd days and whatnot.
Right.
And I think he knew them from...
So I think 2 of those guys are doing like an acoustic tour of
that's
of
what
the area.
they I think the one guy's name is Leslie. I think Leslie did that last year, and it went really well for him. So he came back, and Mike, who sings for the Erotics, and Pink, who sings for a band, Demons Alley, out of Boston, they go around and do an acoustic thing with them. I guess, and I don't think they're coming down for this show.
I think it's just them, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, they would. I'm sure they would have told me, but
we got they're here on Thursday.
Yeah, cool.
Thursday.
Good deal, man. That'd be cool.
16th, maybe.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday. Cool. Yeah, man. I'll be here for that for sure.
Awesome.
I'm gonna bring Cube.
And you guys have to come back here because you blew the place.
Yeah, man. We
last
gotta
time
we
you
gotta
were
we
here.
gotta play here. We want to play with the Cave Mollies, for sure, man.
Dave Molly's in the house.
And I'd love to bring like some bands like the Love Pirates and the Hip Hips and some of these other bands we play in the city with. I'd love to bring them out here.
Yeah, we talked
do a
about
New York
it the
City
other day.
kind of night. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I not knocking any Long Island bands by any stretch of imagination, but it'd be cool to get some of the city bands and some of that vibe out. The Love Pirates, Gass, who was in the Love Pirates, was in some pretty cool and very interesting bands. He was the lead singer of the Lightning Raiders. We were a great punk band out of England, and shoulda, coulda, wouldas. They were just under, like the Gen X type bands, but they did a lot of really cool stuff over there. He was in Manish Boys and a couple other bands, and he's had the Love Pirates for forever, because I know when we were in Mr. Nasty, D was a crazy for the Love Pirates. So. And they're great. They're kind of stonesy, and the hip hips are, like I say, are kind of heartbreakers-ish, right? Maybe.
It's like revved up rock and roll.
Yeah.
A lot of early rock and roll, but
Yeah.
distorted.
Yes. Like the Heartbreakers, but without any issues.
Right.
I've never seen a hip fall over yet.
No.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah,
Cool.
so we'll be back here for sure, man.
Absolutely.
We'll be back here for sure. You guys support original music, which is a godsend. You know, like I said, we'll mix it up because we want to play a lot of our own music for our own heads and whatnot. But, you know, you get people in by getting them with songs that they know. And so mixing it up and having a place to do that is really cool. It's really cool.
Well,
And I really appreciate it. And, we go back a long way because I met you 1980. And in the old Sparks playing with Grimjack, so it goes a long way. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice to know some of the good people have made it through. Really is. You see, I see a lot of stuff that didn't make it through, and you appreciate it a lot more.
and we're just trying.
Yeah, man.
Keep on trying. Keep on just climbing the rope and see where you wind up.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's an adventure every day. Some days more than others.
Yeah. So all right.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
We're going to wrap this up.
All
I just
right,
wanna
right
say
on.
This has been Live Stage Radio, Cold Shot with your host, Len Pyros. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our live audience. Thank you to the amazing staff here at the Rail. Thank you, Lisa and Mike. Join us each and every Tuesday behind the music with Christina Spano, 8 to 9. Cold Shot with me, Len Pyros, around 9:30.
And thank you so much for having us.
And
Lenny, man, you're
very,
awesome.
very honored to have these fucking cool guys here. Give it up one last time for the Heartless Devils. And go see
Woo!
them.
Thank you all for coming out and hanging out tonight.
Support them, buy their merch, buy their music.
And thank you everybody who's
Support
listening
live
online and in
music.
Facebook Live land. Put that thing away. Love Rocket, man. I knew there's always one heckler in the crowd, man. There's always one. And it's always him. All right. So here we go. This is off the Devil's Garage as well. This is definitely an ode to all those New York bands we talked about, especially Johnny and the Dolls.
Thank you.
Damn.
Good night.
Thank you, Heartless Devils. Thank you, The Rail. Thank you, studio audience. And thank you, everybody at home, tuning in. We'll catch you next week. It's fucking badass, these guys.